A lesson in respect, the story of an old woman. In a quiet, picturesque village nestled among green hills and winding rivers, lived an old woman named Shantabai. Her name meant peace, but ironically, she was anything but that. Though she was in her late 70s, her words had the sharpness of a sword. Shantabai was known throughout the village, not for kindness or wisdom, but for her rude remarks and constant criticism. She insulted the milkman for being too slow, scolded the children for playing too loudly, and mocked the young brides for how they dressed or cooked. "Have some respect," she would shout, waving her cane. "I'm older than your mother's mother. You should touch my feet, not argue with me." At first, people tolerated her out of courtesy. "She's old," they'd whisper, "let her be." But over time, even the kindest of villagers began to avoid her. No one stopped by her house anymore. Children ran away when they saw her approaching. During village festivals, while others sang and danced, Shantabai sat alone on her porch, mumbling complaints. One morning, as she stepped out to draw water from the well, she greeted the tailor Ramu, who was passing by. "Namaskar, Ramu," she said. Ramu paused, then replied politely, "Namaskar, Shantabai." But when she immediately snapped, "Your stitching is worse than ever. Why do people still come to you?" Ramu simply gave a tight-lipped smile and walked away. This scene repeated itself again and again. No matter who she spoke to, her words stung, and people left. Slowly, reality hit her. She was alone. She began to feel the weight of silence in her home. Meals became tasteless, mornings too quiet. One evening, sitting under the banyan tree, she broke down into tears, whispering to herself, "Why does no one care for me? What did I do wrong?" As she wept softly, a gentle voice interrupted. "Ai, why are you crying?" It was Meera, a teenage girl from the village, known for her bright smile and kind heart. Shantabai wiped her eyes and muttered, "Nothing, just old age. No one respects elders anymore." Meera sat beside her. May I say something honestly if you promise not to get angry?" Shantabai, too tired to argue, nodded. "Speak." Meera paused and then said, "Have you ever seen how the mango tree in our village behaves during summer?" Shantabai frowned. "What kind of question is that?" Meera continued calmly. "It gives shade to everyone. It doesn't ask, are you older or younger? Are you rich or poor? People sit under it to rest. Children climb it. Even birds make their nests in it. And do you know why everyone loves that mango tree?" Shantabai didn't respond. "Because even though it's old, it gives sweetness, not bitterness. If that tree started throwing its branches at everyone who sat under it, people would stop coming near it, no matter how old and big it was." Meera gently looked into her eyes. "You are like that old tree, you have so much wisdom, so much life lived, but instead of shade and sweetness, people feel thorns in your words. That's why they walk away." For a long while Shantabai didn't speak. Then, with a heavy sigh, she whispered, "I thought respect was my right. I thought if I spoke harshly people would still listen because I'm old. But I guess I never gave them a reason to want to." Meera smiled and held her hand. "It's never too late, start with one kind word, people will return." That night, Shantabai didn't sleep. She thought about every person she had insulted, every relationship she had damaged with her pride. The next morning, something unusual happened in the village square. Shantabai approached the vegetable seller and said, "Your brinjals are fresh today, nicely picked." The seller blinked in surprise. "Thank you, Shantabai." Later she called a few children over and gave them some homemade laddus. "Play, but don't break anything, all right?" she said with a small smile. Whispers spread. Did Shantabai smile today? In the following weeks, Shantabai kept changing. Her tone softened, and slowly, laughter returned to her porch. People began stopping by for a chat. Children brought her drawings. Meera visited often, and they shared stories and laughs. Months later, during the annual village fair, Shantabai was invited on stage to say a few words as the village's eldest member. Everyone expected one of her classic scoldings. Instead, she folded her hands and said, "I used to think age alone deserved respect. But I forgot that respect is something we must give to receive. I was like an old tree throwing shade, but not the kind that helps others. Thanks to Meera, I've learned. It's not the years in your life, but the kindness in your heart that makes people respect you." And Shantabai beamed with a kind of joy she hadn't felt in years, the joy of being loved again. Moral of the story: respect is not bound to age alone. It must be earned through kindness, humility and understanding. Just as elders deserve to be heard and honored, they too must offer respect to others, regardless of age. True respect is mutual, and relationships bloom when both sides listen, care and uplift each other.